At the start of the film, we see a girl named Meline. She was sitting and was asking her mother when her parents will return and what they do for a living. Her mother responds that they are doctors who take lives and they will never come back. Meline then heads upstairs to bring her mother's medication. A masked man then arrives at their home. He inquires about Medeline's father's whereabouts. Her mother replies that he is not present and may never come. But who are you and what you wanted? The man tells her, your father killed his entire family. With that, he shoots and kills Medeline's mother. Upstairs, Meline overhears the sound of gunfire. The man then begins searching for Meline in the house. When he reaches her room, he tries to take her life as well. But Meline fights back with her own gun and kills the masked man. She then takes his body outside to dispose of it. However, the masked man surprisingly comes back to life. Meline, seeing that he is alive, flees in terror. During her escape, Meline falls into the water due to the thin ice. The masked man is alarmed by this, and as he looks at Meline, he recalls his family about the way they died painfully, so he shoots at the ice and breaks it, so that Meline can get out of there easily. And then he leaves from there without saying anything to Meline. Then we are shown the time after many years. Meline had grown up now. She was swimming in the ocean. Then we see the main character of this movie, whose name was James Bond, who was telling Meline, where have you been for so long? Then James takes her to a hotel with him, where both spend time. Here James says, Meline, I have known you for so long, but I still don't know anything about your family. Where have you come from? Who are you? Meline says, I will tell you everything, but you will have to go to your old friend's grave and forgive her first, and you have to tell me everything about her, because the girl Meline was talking about had cheated on James. That's why Meline was telling him to do all this. When James goes to his friend's grave, he finds a symbol there, but then there is a big explosion from which James falls from a distance. There was also a car there which was trying to kill James. James runs away from there and starts fighting with those people. He holds a neck of a man and asks him, who told you that I am here? That man says, do you know the girl with whom you live? She is the daughter of that man, whom you killed many years ago. James now comes to Meline with a bike and says, how did those people know that I had gone to the graveyard? And he takes the name of her dad and asks, who is he to you? Meline says to him, are you mad? I don't know anyone, and why would I tell anyone to kill you? James was getting angry at her. After taking Meline, he goes with her. Then someone called on Medeline's phone. When James hears that call, that man was saying, that Meline, your dad must be feeling proud of you. At that time, many goons attacked James's car. But James's car was bulletproof. Bullets have no effect on it. He shoots those goons with his new technology car and attacks them. He rides Meline on the train and says that we will never meet again. Then we see after a few years, some goons were attacking a company that used to make biotechnical weapons. The scientist there gets a call from a man who was saying that if you want your life, then come with all the chemicals with my people. Then all those people took all the chemicals from there and brought the scientist with them to their boss. On the other side, James meets his old friend, who introduces him to one of his associates who was saying, James, we know that you have left your company. Actually, James used to work in the same company where some people had taken the scientist. That man says that I know you have left your company. That's why I want you to help us. We need you. He says that the people who have caught the scientist of your company have stolen a very dangerous chemical from the company, which can destroy the whole world. You will have to help us and get the scientist released, who is in the custody of a group and he is in another city. James now goes on his next mission, but James was not alone on this mission. There was a girl with him who used to work with him before. Now after reaching that city, James meets another girl, who was his friend's associate who had sent him on a mission. She was very beautiful. That's why James quickly became friends with her. They now go to a party which was given by the leader of those men who had the scientist in their custody. Their leader was not present there, but his men had kept an eye on everyone. Actually, the leader of this group was in the custody of the agents. Now when the leader comes to know that James is also in this party, he tells the scientist to fire the chemical weapon at everyone, because the scientist was in his custody. The leader wanted James to die in agony, but this does not happen. The scientist already changes the DNA in that weapon. Because of the DNA of the person in that weapon, that chemical will affect only that person. That's why the scientist puts the DNA of the people of the other group. Because of this, they were all dying at the party. Now the scientist was very happy to see this, because his chemical weapons were working. James had saved the scientist and was about to take him with him. Then the people of the other group come there, and take the scientist with them. There is a fight between all the groups, in which James was also accompanied by his friend who kills everyone one by one. They have also got the scientist released from those people. Now James's friend's companion tells him about a secret door, through which he left with the scientist. They had come on a ship, where James's friend and his companion were already present, who had sent him on a mission. James comes here and asks the scientist, "What is the purpose of this chemical weapon and who are you working for?" But then James's friend suddenly attacks him, because he was also cheating on James and his companion till now. Because he was involved with someone else, he shoots his companion on that ship, and by blowing up the ship, he took the scientist with him on the plane. Now because of the explosion in the ship broke and was about to sink, because the water was coming into it. Here, James's friend's companion was shot. He had come to know that he would not survive. That's why he tells James to go. James now sits in a boat and moves forward. After which we see Meline, and a man comes to her. They were both remembering their parents and telling each other their stories. Then that man gives a box to Meline, in which there was the same mask that Meline saw in her childhood. Here we come to know that whatever was happening till now, this man was doing it. His name was Saffin and he was the one who had also killed Medeline's mom. Meline asks him, "Why did you kill my mom?" Saffin tells her that, "My dad had a garden of flowers. He liked flowers very much, but your dad killed my dad at the instruction of a man, and also snatched the garden of flowers from him. But you know, James has already killed your dad, who is a very good friend of yours, with whom you also love. Now it is the turn of that man, you will kill that man." Meline tells Saffin, "Why should I believe your words, and why should I work for you?" Saffin says that, "I know, there is still someone for you who is very dear to you." Now Meline did not want to lose that man, so she agrees to Saffin's words. He gives her a poisonous perfume here, which if applied on that man's body, could die immediately. There James goes to one of his friends, who was an agent, who was telling him, "Didn't you know that the scientist is working for someone else? And after all, you had worked with him for so many years." James says, "Those things are not important now. It is important that where is the scientist and for whom is he working? For us, only this is important." His friend, who was an agent, was the leader in his custody, who had first made the scientist a widow. He allows James to meet him, because that man was very angry and he was a little crazy too. That's why he also calls a mental doctor here, who was none other than Meline. After many years, Meline and James see each other. James offers his hand to shake hands with her, but Meline does not shake hands with him, because she had a poisonous perfume on her hand. She had also come to kill the same man with whom James was going to meet, and this was the same man who was killed by Medeline's dad on the order of Saffin's dad. That man is brought in front of them by going inside the jail. James was trying to hold Medeline's hand here. As a result of this, the perfume was touched on James's hand, and Meline got scared and left from there. James now asks that man about the scientist and says, "Tell me, where is he?" But he was not telling him anything. Instead, he was talking about his past and trying to make him angry, so he raises his hand at him in anger, which will give him the punishment for this. James does the same and grabs that man's throat. That man tells James that you are a very selfish person. If you could not be Medeline's, then what would be of someone else? The thing you had left him. The whole plan was mine. After hearing all this, James leaves him and goes out, from which it is later found out that that man had died suddenly, because James had a poisonous perfume on his hand, which was made only for this man's DNA. Everyone was worried to see that man die, and they think that who is the one who will take us to that person for whom the scientist is working. At the same time, one of their assistants says, "James, do you know where Meline is right now? Because now only she can tell us who gave him this poison." James now came to Medeline's old house looking for her, where he tells her that that man has told me that you did not deceive me. If possible, forgive me, but I have still come here for my work. Can you tell me who was that man who gave you the poison to kill that man? Meline takes him to her dad's room, where she tells him that the man who died in jail, he had told my dad to kill a family. My dad killed everyone. but one of them survived, who is still alive. He had an island in which there was a garden of flowers, and that man's name is Saffin, the one who is still alive. He gave me that poison, and his intentions are not right. He wants to put poisonous chemicals in those plants and kill the world. And your friend who deceived you is working with those people. Their Meline also introduces James to a little girl who was the daughter of them, about whom Meline had never told. That's why some people come there. Meline knew that these were the goons of Saffin, because he did not want anyone to know anything about his island. James runs away with his daughter and Meline, but those people were attacking them. Now James had come to the jungle, making Meline and her daughter sit in a hut. He goes to fight those people. He was killing them one after the other. Taking advantage of this fight, Saffin takes Meline and her daughter in his helicopter. He shows Meline his garden, from which he was going to stop the population of the world. He was taking revenge on his family from Meline. He separates her daughter from her. Here on the island, James and his companion had also reached, with whom the GPS was installed. As soon as they come there, James and his companion captured the scientist, but here through a speaker, Saffin talks to him. James, how strange is it? I have 2 of your belongings. Why don't we sit and talk? Now James hands over the scientist to his companion, and he goes to talk to Saffin. Saffin had James's daughter. James says, look, I don't want bloodshed, and you hand over my man to me. Take your family and quietly go from here. And yes, if you try to spoil my poisonous plants, it won't be good. I will kill you in such a way that you can't even think. Hearing this, James was very angry. He attacks Saffin. But he had disappeared from an underground way. Anyway, James somehow finds Meline and his daughter. There, the scientist is also killed by James's companion in the chemical water. There, James is told by his agent friend that some helicopters are coming towards the island to take those poisonous plants. You will have to finish them soon. James hands over Meline and his daughter to his companion, which takes them away from here, and tells to attack that island with a missile, so that they can destroy that island. But when Saffin finds out about this, he seals them with big domes, so that the missiles can't come inside, but James removes them. Now there is a fight between Saffin and James, in which Saffin was killed, but while dying, he puts poisonous medicine on James's body, which was such a poison that whoever James touches, that person will die. James's friend tells him that there is no antidote to this poison. Now the time had come. James was about to die. Before dying, he talks to Meline and tells her that he loved her a lot, after which he stands facing the sky. As soon as the missiles came, he was killed with those poisonous plants. Everyone was very sad to see this. Meline was also crying a lot. James had given his life to save everyone. The film ends with the bravery of James.
Preview.